How we doing, everybody? This is the Pop Music Freak back with another Song Facts Countdown video. Counting down my 1,000 favorite songs of all time. We're up to number 864. It is the first or the second? The second of 11 songs in the top 1,000 by one of my favorite British Australian 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s groups. I'm talking about the Bee Gees, of course, the Brothers Gibb. And this actually was, chart-wise, their biggest hit in terms of length of time at number one. Anyway, talking about a song that spent 8 weeks at number one in 1978. The third super-duper smash from the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, Night Fever. Now, some of you are going to right away probably want to throw a tomato at me. You Bee Gees purists out there who say, "Are you kidding me? 864 on the list." Before I get all those comments, and I'll get at least one, probably two, or eight. It's a good song. It's a great song, but there's about 9 others that I love way more than this song. But this song is a great song. Don't take it as a diss or a slight. Wait till you see the top 100. There's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, at least 3 Bee Gees songs in the top 100. So look forward to that. All right? I know particularly one friend out there who loves the Bee Gees. Loves the Bee Gees. Don't worry. I got you, Andrew. I got you. All right. So let's do song facts on Night Fever. Why don't we? All right? Night Fever is a song written and performed by the Bee Gees. It first appeared on the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever on RSO Records. Producer Robert Stigwood wanted to call the film Saturday Night, but singer Robin Gibb expressed hesitation at the title. Stigwood liked the title Night Fever, but was wary of marketing a movie with that name. The song bounded up the Billboard charts while the Bee Gees' 2 previous hits from Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, How Deep Is Your Love and Staying Alive, was still in the top 10. The record debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 chart at number 76, then leaped 44 positions to number 32 the next week, and then jumped to number 17, and then 8, and then 5, 2, and then number 1, where it stayed for 8 straight weeks, the most for any single that year, and ultimately spent 13 weeks in the top 10. For the first 5 weeks, that Night Fever was at number 1, Staying Alive was at number 2. Also, for 1 week in March, Bee Gees related songs held 5 of the top positions on the Hot 100 chart. And more impressively, 4 of the top 5 positions were written by Barry Gibb. Amazing accomplishment. You throw in If I Can't Have You, and you throw in Emotion, which was Samantha Sang with a lot of help from Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. You had those 5 songs in the top 10 at the same time. An amazing dominance by one man and his pen. So there you go. More impressively, 4 of the top 5 were Night Fever at number 1. The B-side of Night Fever was a live version of Down the Road, which was taken from the Bee Gees' 1977 album, Here at Last, Bee Gees Live. Now, if you're wondering when the song was recorded, they originally started recording it April of 1977, and they went back into the studio and finalized everything, including Night Fever, in September of 1977. All right, inspiration in writing. When Bee Gees manager Robert Stigwood was producing a movie about the New York disco scene, the working title for the film at the time was Saturday Night. Stigwood asked the group to write a song using that name as a title, but the Bee Gees disliked it. They had already written a song called Night Fever, and the Bay City Rollers had already had a number 1 hit with Saturday Night in the beginning of 1976, and Earth, Wind & Fire had a hit late in 76 with Saturday Night. So the group convinced Stigwood to use Night Fever and change the film's name to Saturday Night Fever. The string intro of Night Fever was inspired by Theme from a Summer Place by Percy Faith, of all things. According to keyboardist Blue Weaver, when he was performing it one morning at the sessions, and Barry Gibb walked in and heard the new idea for this song, as Weaver explains the history behind this song. Night Fever started off because Barry walked in one morning when I was trying to work out something. I always wanted to do a disco version of the Theme from a Summer Place by Percy Faith Orchestra, or something, It was a big hit in the 60s. I was playing that, and Barry said, "What was that?" And I said, "Theme from a Summer Place." And Barry said, "No, it wasn't. It was new." Barry heard the idea. I was playing it on a string synthesizer and sang the riff over it. Barry Gibb, Robin Gibb, and Maurice Gibb completed the lyrics for Night Fever sitting on a staircase, reminiscent of their first international hit, the New York mining disaster 1941, which was written also in a staircase back in late 1966. The Bee Gees began recording this song by April 1977 in France and finished it up in September the same year. A demo of Night Fever with some instrumental and vocals heard on it exists and was available to download on Rhino Records' website in 2009 or earlier. For the Night Fever, the group had the hook, line, and rhythm. They usually pat their legs to set up a song's rhythm when they first sing it, and parts of the verses. They had the emotion, same as on the record. We put down battery first, so the feel was locked in. The electric piano part was put on before the bass, and then the heavy guitar parts. We had the sound, but we needed something there to shake it, so we used the thunder sound. Reception. According to Billboard magazine, it has a jumping disco beat and a smooth falsetto lead vocal. Cashbox similarly said it has a dancing beat, scratchy guitar, sweeping orchestration, and familiar falsetto. Legacy. It also replaced Andy Gibb's Love Is Thicker Than Water at number 1 and was in turn replaced by Yvonne Elliman's If I Can't Have You, all of which were written and produced by the Gibb brothers. It would be the third of 6 consecutive U.S. number ones for the band, tying the Beatles for the record for the most consecutive number 1 singles. The record would be broken by Whitney Houston in 1988, as she had 7 consecutive number 1 singles. Night Fever also topped the UK singles chart for 2 weeks, their third number 1. And in the US, it remained the number 1 Billboard Hot 100 single for over 2 months in 1978. In addition to Saturday Night Fever, the song has also appeared in a movie and on the soundtrack for Mystery Men. The song is listed at number 38 on Billboard's all-time top 100. That was as of 2018. It's dropped since then. It's also featured in other films, including Luna, Mr. Saturday Night, ID, Whatever Happened to Harold Smith, and Avenue Montaigne, or something like that. Forgive me for bad pronunciation. Also want to mention, 1978 final rankings from Billboard. Night Fever was ranked number 2 behind Andy Gibb's Shadow Dancing. So basically, the Gibb brothers had the top 4 songs of 1978, according to Billboard. And when you add in How Deep Is Your Love and Staying Alive and Shadow Dancing, they had the top 4. Just an amazing accomplishment. The Beatles didn't even do that in 1964. Worth mentioning that. Now, as for the music video, it was made for the song in 1978, but not shown to the public until 2004. It features the brothers singing the songs in a darkened studio, layered over background video filmed while driving along Motel Row on Collins Avenue, a 3-mile motel strip in what is now Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Most of the motels that appeared in the video are now closed or demolished, including several whose names are reminiscent of Las Vegas resorts: Castaways, Desert Inn, Sahara, and Golden Nugget. And in terms of personnel who performed on Night Fever, Barry Gibb had lead, harmony, and backing vocals, played rhythm guitar. Robin Gibb, harmony and backing vocals. Maurice Gibb played bass with harmony and backing vocals. Alan Kendall played lead guitar. Dennis Byron on drums, and Blue Weaver on Fender Rhodes electric piano and string synthesizer. All right, chart success. As we mentioned, of course, in USA and Billboard, it was number 1 for 8 weeks. Cashbox, it was number 1 for 3 weeks. It also charted on the Billboard R&B singles chart, got to number 8. And on the adult contemporary chart, got to number 19. Now, on the dance play chart, it only reached number 3, which is kind of odd considering how it is Saturday Night Fever. It's like the apex of disco. And it didn't even hit number 1 on the disco chart, but there was a lot of other great songs out at that time, for sure. So what else we got? In the UK, it hit number 1. I think that was is not a surprise. I'll go through the rest of the number ones. Brazil, Canada, Ireland, Spain, and the UK. Okay. And the number twos hit number 2 in Mexico, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, and West Germany. So it was huge everywhere, basically. And a lot of other countries, they hit the top 10. All right, now year-end countdowns. Like as I mentioned on the Billboard Hot 100, it was ranked number 2 for the year behind Shadow Dancing. Cashbox, it was the number 1 song of the year. Canada, number 1 song of the year. In the UK, number 7 song of the year. And New Zealand, number 9. So there we are. Certifications. In the USA, it sold 2.5 million singles in 1978 and was certified platinum. In the UK, it sold 650,000 copies and went gold. And in Canada, it sold 150,000 copies and was platinum. Okay, can't talk today. Forgive me. Now the remakes, there's not really many remakes. Although a group called Exit in Australia did a remake in 1996 with some rap in it, and there's interesting play on the song for sure. Hit number 30 in Australia. It didn't do a lot. Sometimes there's nothing like the original, you know. And Carol Douglas, if I distinctly remember, did a version of the song actually a few months after it was a hit, and did relatively decently on a disco chart, but nothing like the original, of course. All right, so there we are. Those are the song facts for Night Fever by the Bee Gees. It's song number 864 on my top 1,000 of all time. I know some people are going to tell me, oh, it should have been much higher. It was the biggest hit, blah, blah, blah. It's coming. That's all right. Bring it on. Actually like it. The more interest you have in a video, the more you want to say something, the more you're going to stick around and see what else they do, right? Right? That's how it works. All right. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, I'll put a link to the music video, the long-lost music video that never got played on MTV, believe it or not. It never got played on MTV. I know it came out 3 years before MTV, but you figure it's really, the backlash was still that strong in the early 80s against the Bee Gees? I guess so. So that might explain that. All right. Anyway, so I hope you liked the video. I hope you share it. I hope you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And hit that bell to notify you when I'm putting out more videos. Sometimes they get a little unpredictable just to make it fun. Woohoo! What's Paul going to do? I mean, the pop music freak going to do next. All right, so thank you for watching. I hope you had a great day, and peace and love to all of you.